I apologize for that clickbaity thumbnail. I'll explain. GameMasters here, and through interviews found online about journeys through the Radiant Citadel, we have learned that a creature from old school Dungeons & Dragons might be included as one of the 11 new monster stat blocks in Radiant Citadel. The specific one we referenced in the thumbnail is and let's see if I can pronounce it correctly, the Aurumvorax. I think so. While we don't have 5th edition stat block, and because there is a fair amount of pure speculation, we're going mainly off of hints here, I do want to point to a small bit of evidence for its justification as appearing in Radiant Citadel. We'll get into that in just a moment, though. First, however, I want to go back in time a bit to 1983 and check out the Aurumvorax's stat block as it was found in the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual 2. And sorry, I can't find my full-size book, so I'm going to use this little miniature version of it. But keep in mind, back in the 80s, we were not really presented with the stats such as strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, that kind of stuff for the monsters at all. So the stat block that we present here in this video, it's going to look a little bit different than what you would see in 5th edition. Also, some of the mechanics worked differently back then, and of course some were completely phased out altogether and new mechanics were added in later. The Aurumvorax is a badger wolverine type looking monster and is also known as a golden gorger, named so because of its golden coat and the fact that it eats a lot. It has 8 legs, and as mentioned, its coat has a golden sheen, with each of its legs having copper-colored claws. Its teeth also shine with a copper hue, and its eyes gleam silver with golden pupils. Because of its appearance, many an adventurer has mistaken a sleeping Aurumvorax for a pile of gold, only to find a face full of teeth and claws. Before we jump deeper into what the Aurumvorax is, I'd love to ask that if you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button. I'm told that it helps with the YouTube algorithm in kind of getting my views out and recommended to other eyes. And it just takes half a second to click, and I'd appreciate it. The Aurumvorax usually appears by itself. Its movement is 9 inches. You know that's going to see a major change in 5th edition, but I mentioned the mechanics work different back in the 80s. Its hit dice is 12. It could usually do 2d8 damage when it attacks, but it did have a special attack and a special defense. We'll check those out in a moment. It was usually of neutral alignment, had no psionic abilities, and was considered to be small in size, which would be around 2 to 4 feet. However, here in the description, we are provided with that it would be 1.5 feet tall and 3 feet long. And get this sucker would weigh in at over 500 pounds. I told you it ate a lot. Okay, so for its special attack, when it attacks, it will bite and lock its teeth into its prey, then 2 to 8 of its legs will come into play, dealing 1 to 6 points of damage. On a successful bite, it will deal out 2 to 8 damage, and its teeth will sink in, kind of locking in, and each subsequent turn that it stays latched on, it will inflict an automatic 8 damage. And get this is where the mechanics worked a little bit different. When it bites, the dexterity of the opponent is negated for computation of armor class. Only death will cause the Aurumvorax to unlock its jaws. As for its special defense, so we mentioned that it was unusually heavy for its 3-foot long size, 500 or so pounds, and it is explained that its hide and bones are very dense. Because of this, it only takes half damage from blunt weapons. Normal fires, completely immune to. Magical fires, it takes half damage, and poison, it just kind of shrugs that stuff off. Earlier, I also mentioned about a small bit of evidence to give legitimacy for its inclusion in Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. Now, a few videos back, we did a video covering the titles of the adventures found within. One of the adventures is called Gold for Fools and Princes. And I don't know, maybe I'm reading a little too much into this or between the lines where there shouldn't be anything read, but I am anyway. With this Aurumvorax being sometimes mistaken for a pile of gold, at least by advanced Dungeons & Dragons standards, it makes total sense that it would fit into at least that specific adventure. If you'd like to see more of the adventure titles that can be found in the Radiant Citadel book, check out this video. Rumors are just that, rumors, but with the different articles that I've seen having the Aurumvorax included seems to have some merit to it. What do you think, and what would its 5th edition counterpart look like? Let's speculate in the comments below, and until next our paths cross, may that pile of gold you think you found actually be a pile of gold.